What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Martin Gore. Indeed, many moons ago I went through his Counterfeit EP, which is from 1989. Shout out to Adam for sharing that, and for sharing his 2003 album, Counterfeit, although the 2003 album appears with a superscript 2, like Counterfeit squared. In any case, I am curious to hear what Martin does for his only, as far as I can tell on Discogs, proper album. He does seem to have a number of other EPs, but this is the only full album, and now it's more than 20 years ago. So yes, I'm a fan of Martin from his work in Depeche Mode, but I do remember enjoying the mid to late 80s sound of his EP. So yes, the first tune on the album is In My Time of Dying, which sounds very dramatic. Obviously, a lot of Depeche Mode songs have dark or psycho-emotionally complicated lyrics as far as I've heard and interpreted over the years. Obviously, as I went through their catalog, and there's still a number of their tunes I haven't reacted to, although I haven't done a proper deep dive in that. I've just been jumping around because it was a group I started with early on before the deep dives actually took off in a more chronological or sequential way. Nevertheless, the lyrics, as I've understood many of their tunes, most of which were written by Martin. Obviously, over time, there's been some different contributors. In the very early days, it was mostly Vince, and in more recent times, Dave has written some songs, and obviously Alan wrote some songs in the 90s, or the second half of the 80s and the 90s. Nevertheless, Martin Gore's lyrics have seemed, in many cases, deeply introspective, sometimes in a critical way, addressing heavy issues. I reacted to a Depeche Mode tune not too long ago relating to his alcohol use and the dark place psycho-emotionally that took him to, and also then putting that out there for the world and addressing it through his art. So In My Time of Dying feels like it could very much be in that same vein. Now this is post both the early Martin Gore songwriting, and it's also post the Ultra album, which is where that song came from, Home. But yes, I feel like this could relate to actual dying. It could relate to an emotional dying, a mental dying. It could relate to the experience of a big loss, whether that is your own death in a figurative sense or someone else's actual death, and feeling like you are numb or cut off from whatever emotion that person related to. So yes, I feel like it could go some different ways, and yet all of them seem very heavy. So I'll pick up what I can on a first listen. This is Martin Gore. The tune is In My Time of Dying, and it's the first track on his 2003 album Counterfeit Squared.
In my time of dying, I don't want nobody to mourn.
Okay.
All I want for you to do is take my body home. Well, so I can die easy. Well. So I can die easy. Jesus gonna make up. Jesus gonna make up. Jesus gonna make up my dying bed. Meet me, Jesus, meet me. Won't you meet me in the middle of the air? And if these wings Jesus gonna make up, Jesus gonna make up, Jesus gonna make up my dying bed.
It's like very slow sounds, that somewhat rapid percussion rhythm, and then that steady tone in the middle of it all.
In my time of dying, I don't want nobody to cry. All I want for you to do is take me when I die. Well, so I can die easy. Well, so I can die easy. Jesus gonna make up, Jesus gonna make up, Jesus gonna make up my dying bed.
It's like a drag on the track. So yeah, that heavy, distorted sort of drag. There was some arrhythmic sounds. There was also this dissonant ambience to it. It feels like a tune that could be an album track for Depeche Mode. Maybe not like a lead single, but definitely a tune that fits into some of the electronic vibes, which, of course, that's not surprising. Nevertheless, lyrically, I'm not sure what's happening, but I feel like he is referring to the potential of his own death and what he would like to see in relation to that. He's making overt religious references, and what was it, like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus will be there for his last breath? I forget what the phrasing was, but it does sound like he's invoking his own mortality, not only for his psycho-emotional and perhaps spiritual understanding of what that might mean, but also the empirical aftermath of it, what the people who will live beyond his lifespan would do, or what he would want them to do in a normative sense, take his body home, put him to rest, essentially. So, again, as someone who wasn't particularly old, I feel like he was roughly, I think he was a little younger than me at this point. What is he born in? Like mid-60s maybe? So in the early 2000s he would have been like late 30s, just about to turn 40. Either way, it feels like it's a somewhat early stage of his life to be thinking about mortality, but when you've been through intense experiences and the deep wells of addiction where perhaps you do think about your life coming to an end because it feels like it might all be crumbling and it's out of your control and so on, maybe it's not that surprising. And maybe there's a bit more conceptually going on here. It's not maybe as on the nose as it sounds like, but again, it feels like he's wrestling with mortality psychologically and interpersonally, socially, familially. So I do wonder some of the other parts that I didn't catch clearly, whether that takes it to a more complicated level or maybe even a more figurative level. But yes, again, I like the way the tune kind of had three different speeds to it. It had that maybe not rapid, but certainly kinetic and energetic percussion groove. It had these long and somewhat dissonant pads and a bit of an ambient feel, and then in the middle of it, it had this regular double tone that seemed to be sort of a marker, a rhythmic marker for the track. So I enjoy the way it seemed to work on different levels, rhythmically and sonically. Curious to hear what the rest of the album will be like, how much like Depeche Mode or how much distinct from the Depeche Mode sound it will be. Once again, shout out to Adam for sharing this. Do let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.